Alright, so I'm going to be commentating on this game, doing a little voiceover here. So this is the Ino deck. We're playing against one of my friends from Discord. And although we won't get, I don't even think I get the Ino off in this game, which is kind of sad, but I wanted to at least show that you don't necessarily even need Ino to win. Or to at least do well. Blue has some pretty decent cards, and red is just amazing. So we're just chatting up, talking about the new errata and how cards that are quested go to the discard pile. So he was nice enough to give me a couple little ticker things. And I think we're having trouble with. I had to unlock this or something. But he plays out the 8-drop Sasuke in his first turn, and luckily we had Sai in our hand. I think this game would have been very different had I not had an answer to that immediately. I also tell him to just don't forget to draw a card. So we have one of our action cards, but the main thing, just make sure that we get the Sai out so that we can get some extra time and get one of our cards on the field. So I'm trying to figure out what to play next. Do I want to play the Sakura and give him 3 time? Sorry, the blue Sakura, or do I want to play the red Sakura, miss the effect, but at least get a bigger body on the field and give him less time? So went with that option. Could have also played out the blue Sakura and the red Sai in retrospect, but I guess we'll just get this bigger body on the field. He doesn't have very much time to work with, so I think I ended up making a couple mistakes in here. It's all getting used to the game, I guess. So he plays out the big Sasuke again. He tells me try that again. So I make the mistake of just playing my Sasuke instead of attacking first. I think. I think I'm looking at, do I want to play a bunch of small guys or one big guy? And I think yep, just go with the big guy. So didn't attack, and I'm thinking about that right now, saying whoops in my head. Yeah. But it's okay, because he'll have to attack into our guardians. Oh, excuse me. And we might get to pull something off here. Again, not leaving him with a bunch of time, so. So it goes for the attack to grab some extra time. No luck on the Chocho. But luckily we grabbed the Sai and end up answering him again. Poor guy. We are down a couple of guardians, but our board is looking really nice. We have 2 big bodies and a card with recovery. And so I was kind of shocked because I had never played against this deck before. It's like, oh, this is a brand new deck with using Ino, and then he actually drops it, so it's pretty funny. So it's now our turn. We're only left with 1 time, but luckily we have Sasuke in the field. So this will give us some extra room to breathe. Pulling us up to 3. Sasuke is just a really good card. It's a 10, so it gets over Boruto and basically every card that's not Kakashi. Unfortunately, I can't play the Zetsu ability because it only targets his cards. Otherwise, it would have been nice to use my Sai to bounce a card back. Again, no targets here for the Sakura. So looking back, it was a good thing we didn't play the Sai or the other Sakura out. They would have gotten blown up. But just a mistake from me, so. So now just... Oh, I played the Mitsuki. So I played the Mitsuki out because I know I have Hinata in my hand. So if it could survive this turn, which unfortunately it doesn't, I could have played the Hinata next, give him one time, and brought the Mitsuki back for another hit next round. And that's kind of the golden standard that you're looking for when playing this deck. You hopefully can bring that Mitsuki back. Or one of your recovery cards if you have the time for it. So we're doing a really good job about managing our time at this point. I don't think we've even given him over 3 time. Or over 2 time. And we now have board control, we have the Guardian, but he does have hand advantage. Unfortunately in this game, hand advantage isn't necessarily the biggest thing. Because you're typically only playing about 1 card per turn, 1 or 2 cards per turn. And I mean, obviously if you don't have any cards in your hand, it's bad. Having more options is always good, but because of the summoning sickness and there are only a handful of cards with haste, having all these cards in your hand doesn't really help out a lot. So he plays out the Kirin. Unfortunately this ends his turn. I guess he didn't have any other options. Is it Kirin or Karen? I don't know. So at this point we don't want to play anything because that'll end our turn obviously. So we attack to get some time back in case he does reveal a card that gives him time. Neji would have been great earlier, but because we now have so many targets, the game is over at this point. Shame that the Neji was pulled up later in the game. So we're gonna go to a reset and we're gonna start our next game. So you guys can see that even though Ino is in the deck, we didn't even play any action cards this game. It's nice that we have the package to play that, but we really don't even need it. Sasuke could put in work. We have some answers with the red cards to bounce back some of the threats that they offer. So it's just, blue and red's a pretty good contender, in my opinion. And I've done some playtesting myself, and I was able to get Ino out, and although it doesn't break the game, it's just nice to have options available. And we play so many action cards in the deck that, you know, you have just, like I said, plenty of options. It's really nice. So this game we're starting off with Chocho just to, again, time resources here. We could have played out Sarada, but you know, why give more time if we don't have to? I think a lot of people want to go in straight with cards like Mitsuki because it has haste, but I think what I was doing here is maybe waiting until I found a card to bounce Mitsuki back. And because we're going first, we're going to get a damage in regardless, so. Just looking at his hand here, he did get an EX card off of the Sugetsu. I think I make some pretty fatal mistakes in this game, actually. Just nice, we got our Sai. That'll be a good pocket card. So right now I'm thinking like, do I attack into that in Suicide, or do I play a card that can kill it? And here, just a big misplay. I wasn't thinking about the time. I was just thinking, oh, this guy has 2 power, this guy has 1 power, I can kill him with haste. So, pretty big mistake there. Definitely should have, well, I mean, I could have traded the Chocho and played a Sai or something. But, yeah, no harm, no foul. If he does attack into our Guardian, he'll probably die, and then we'll have Mitsuki up and Chocho up. I think getting rid of his Guardian, though, would have been better, so the trade into Chocho would have been probably the most ideal there. Unfortunately, he plays out the big Sasuke again, and we do have the answer. Again, this game might have swung different had we not had that card. So he did not quest or attack with Sugetsu, so... Actually, I think with the new updates, if they quest with a Sentinel, they actually can't even... It turns their Sentinel off, so he would have only been able to attack with it. In that case, he would have probably died. So we grab 2 Guardians, but lose 2 guys in the process. It's to be expected with smaller cards like this. But we want to go ahead and answer the Sasuke. And again, really good time management here, having these options. Putting him at 1. So we're up on Guardians, we're up on our bodies. I believe he has hand advantage again, but can't really see. They're really trying to keep him from having cards on the board because he has the EX card in his hand. So luckily we're able to target any card on the field. If you target one that's already tapped in the rules, it says that it just does nothing. So he tries to give me a little bit of time here instead of playing out a bigger card, which is understandable. So I think I can attack the Guardians, but then I draw that back and say, whoops, I forgot you have a Sentinel. So attack into the Sentinel. I'm gonna get a free Guardian here. And unfortunately he pulls the Hinata out, which bounces his card back. But he does get to draw 2 cards. And just luckily we can bring it back down to 1 with Sarada, whatever. So right now I'm just saying that I have the Sarada out, so once I attack with it, I can Hinata it back to my hand, and then she won't die. We could play her another time. I also didn't realize I was supposed to draw an EX card and discard a card. Most likely would have discarded Tsunade at this point, because the only thing that could really stop us here is cards with Sentinel. I'm just chatting right now. I thought he meant I'm leaving him with no cards on the field, but he meant leaving him with no time. I said, it was your Hinata that took you out, not me. So it looks like he doesn't have very much to play here. He has to Neji the Sarada or risk losing the game. Fortunately, we get another Hinata. We do have some extra time, so we could bounce the side back and draw some cards. We'll go ahead and attack with the big body, forcing him to target our little guy. Instead, he gets an EX card. And Oh well, I was actually supposed to. I need to pay closer attention to that, but I was supposed to kill my Psy off at that point because Roughly had the same. Oh well, actually, that's too bad. Let's see if this would have mattered. Otherwise, I owe him an apology. Okay, I don't think it would have mattered because we would have had -1 Psy in our hand, but we would have just played out the second Psy anyway. But still, it's a good catch on my part that I need to pay closer attention to that. Usually just worried about what their Guardian effect is, if it's going to end my turn or kill my card. I think he's going through what to play. I don't think he has any answers, and so the game pretty much ends at this point. But there's the 2 games played with this Ino deck. It's really fun because you have the blue options, which I know everyone says is not the best, but this kind of opens up some new fun little things that you can do, little cool interactions. Just have to pay close attention to the cards that could possibly be bounced off of your side of the field. If you can manage that correctly, you have a pretty solid game. Hopefully you have as much luck as me pulling these sides out, but anyway, so I hope you guys take this and run with it. Again, really fun deck if you're looking to slot some of your blue cards that are just sitting on the sidelines. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be uploading some other deck profiles soon. Take care.
It's just